Merry Christmas! This is Crafty Grinding back again with an arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I'm going to cover round 1 results for the MODOK and Punisher arenas, then do a little trend analysis and do some predictions for round 2. So let's take a first look at round 1 results. You can see with the 4-star feature, MODOK came in at a unexpectedly low 16.4 million with the top 10% at 4.7 million. And what you can see here is that 11% shard tier came in right above 2 million, around about 2.3 million. Now the 16.4, though, like I said a few minutes ago, was unexpected. When I asked the community their input, the community came back and basically said, hey, this could be a 19 million champ, first science new champ in a while, looks good for arena defense, that kind of thing. But unexpectedly, he came back with a 16.4 million first round cutoff. Jumping over to the 4-star basic Punisher, you can see that he came in at 2.0 million. Again, this number was a little bit lower than most of the community inputted during my voting poll process. But there was a few of you though who did call this out, that he would come in this low, and right you were. And then we look at the 11 to 25% tier, it came in at 1.65 million. And lastly, when we come over to the 3-star MODOK first round cutoff, he came in at 1.48 million with 11 to 25% tier coming in at 640. And this number out of the other, compared to the other two, is pretty close to what was expected. So when we do a direct comparison there to round 1 predictions, you can see again, basing off of the community input as well as first time being a science champ, thinking this might be a higher end kind of champ. Didn't end up being the case. Not 19.2, closer to that. They're actually in that 16 million range, so this is definitely a bad prediction. When we look at the 4-star basic Punisher, again, this one was a little bit higher than expected. Not as drastic as MODOK by any stretch, but still not within that 10% range of the actual cutoff. So this too was a bad prediction. But lastly, we can jump over to the 3-star feature. This was right around where the prediction was right around the actual cutoff. It looks like we're back to that right around that 1.5 million range for new champs, as people are trying to get that 3-star to actually play around a bit with the new champion. So this one was a good prediction. So now that we've done a review of round 1 actual cutoff compared against the predictions, let's jump into what round 2 might look like. Starting first with the 4-star feature MODOK, you can see that when I look at some recent other new champs in the 4-star feature arena, you can see that Mephisto, um, he had an actual jump from round 1 to round 2, only around 300,000. Thor Ragnarok, for whatever reason, I guess there was just not a lot of love for him, even though there was Valor involved with that arena. There was actually a decrease, around 2 million points for the decrease for between round 1 and round 2 cutoffs. But then lastly, when we look at Hela, again, this one was very similar between round 1 and round 2. And then when you look at the top 10% and 11% tier shards, you can see for the most part there's a steady increase between round 1 and round 2, and also just a general increase overall between the cutoffs for those cheers, or sorry, for those tiers. And then when we jump over to the 4-star basic arena, you can see, and this because of the actual cutoff around 2 million, that's actually a low interest champ versus a mid interest champ. So when we look at some recent low interest first round and second rounds, you can see with Rocket, there was a steady increase between round 1 and round 2. With Drax, there was actually a decrease, but Drax did have one of the highest numbers for that low interest. He was right around borderline between a a low interest and a medium interest champ. But then when we jump back over to Gamora, it was kind of as expected between round 1 and round 2, very similar numbers. And when we look at the 11 to 25% tier, you can see that for the most part, this is kind of a steady round 1 to round 2 increase, but pretty much a flat line over time. And lastly, when we look at the 3-star feature arena, you can see no matter if we're looking at Mephisto, Morningstar, or Blade, for the most part, between round 1 and round 2, there's always a decrease. And most recently, there's been some significant decreases between round 1 and round 2, most recently with Morningstar and Blade. As you can see, those numbers have dropped a couple 100,000 between the different rounds. Now you may notice for the 3-star feature and 4-star feature, I did not include the Taskmaster results just because that the second round that was the instability of the game quite a bit. That Kabam came back out with all the compensation packages, so I threw those results out because they were pretty much an anomaly and nothing that I really want to base any trend predictions against. But these are the results I do want to kind of consider, and considering these, here's what I think round 2 predictions will be. So with MODOK, I think it'll be like what you've seen with some of those recent 4-star features. They're right around the round 1 cutoff, so I think it'll be a little bit higher with 17 million with a top 10% of 4.7. You saw with a low interest 4-star basic champ, there could be a slight increase between round 1 and round 2. So instead of 2 million, I think 2.2 will be the cutoff. And then lastly, with the 11 to 25% tier, you can see that those came in at 1.75 million. Now jumping back quickly back to the left here, the 4-star feature, the top 10%, that slight increase between round 1 and round 2, I think you'll see that 4.7 million, still right around there. And then with the 11% tier, shard tier, I think you'll see that coming around 2.3 million. And then with MODOK over on the 3-star feature, I think he'll come in at 1.25. That drop between round 1 and round 2, almost a couple, 300,000 from the just under 1.5 million. I think we'll see that go down 1.25, and 11 to 25% we'll see to go to 670,000. In terms of grind targets, again, this is where these predictions are for the veterans bracket, meaning your account's been open for 61 days or more, and these are actually where I think the cutoffs will be. So I always recommend going a bit higher than where the actual cutoff will be, just to make sure you get the champ you're grinding for. And I think for MODOK, 17.5 million will be a good number. The top 10% number will be 4.8 when we look at 4.8 million. When we jump over to the 4-star basic, I think top 10% will be right around 2.5 million, with 11 to 25% around 1.8 million. And then lastly, for the 3-star feature, a good safe number to go to for MODOK will be 1.3 million. Should be fine there with 11 to 25% at 690,000. Again, the grind targets are for the veterans bracket. When it comes to the beginner and intermediate bracket, I think I do have a little bit of an update for the 3-star feature, pretty much the same, right around 245,000. And I can personally tell you that I was able to get him for just over 200,000. So anywhere from 200,000 to 250,000, that last milestone, or not last, but that actual milestone reward around 240, you should be fine. We jump over to that 4-star basic. I think what I just recently had some folks from the community report that they were able to get him, not Punisher, but the last 4-star Carnage, I believe it was, for right around 700,000. So 750 should be the new target for the 4-star basic. And then for the 4-star feature beginner bracket, right around 1 million. Looking at the intermediate bracket, the 3-star feature right around that last milestone reward around 650,000. The 4-star basic, again, these are based off of some recently reported results, right around 1.2 million. And lastly, the 4-star feature at 1.2 million. Now these again are for the intermediate and bracket. These are rough ranges. They're not based on a ton of past results, just some anecdotal information shared by the community. Just some recent information as well as my own recent experiences with my free-to-play account. So kind of keep that in mind. These are just general. If you really want to feel safe with the intermediate or beginner bracket, try to go as high as you can and feel comfortable over these range numbers. But again, these numbers here are the actual for predictions and grind targets for the veterans bracket. So anyway, these are my thoughts. Would love to hear your thoughts, especially if there's a difference of opinion. Throw them on down there. There's been some great dialogue with some of these recent cutoff prediction videos, and love to continue that dialogue with folks. So please continue to provide that down in the comment section. If you have any questions, please throw them on down there as well. And of course, if you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you click that thumbs up button, and if you like this and other videos I have on the channel, we really appreciate a subscribe. Other than that, again, I'd just like to say Merry Christmas to everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful 2018. Looking forward to continue the grinding in MCOC, Marvel Contest of Champions, as there sounds like some great content up and coming, and I hope you too enjoy continuing playing the game, and I wish you a Happy New Year. Thanks very much, and have a great day.